When people talk about the nature of co-creation with the universe, I find it really interesting how we relate to that in a way that often has no empirical experience of it. It's more theoretical than it is practical, and there's no integration in my perception around the nature of what people say, unless their processes are unconscious or their processes are kept to themselves. I don't really see a lot of people talking about the nature of manifestation on the internet or on YouTube that give any real empirical experiences of manifestation in a way through the act of creation or co-creation with the universe, and how their processes actually take place. There are some people that do it. Um, Joe Dispenza is one who I can think of off the top of my head who talks about the nature of co-creation. Greg Braden is another one as well. But for me, I'm going to talk of this in this video. I'm going to talk about the nature of my experiences with co-creation and how the little subtle prompts that I have in my levels of co-creation with the universe, and how the universe is co-creating with me in a way that's so subtle that it takes a great deal of self-awareness for myself, for me, to be able to actually understand and see that the universe is co-creating with me and giving me the prompts that I need in my evolution. And those moments only come to me when I'm totally and utterly present. If I'm projecting myself into an experience or to the future or the past, I don't have those prompts. I don't have the moments where I'm actually able to perceive that which is being offered to me. And a lot of my prompts come to me in the most subtle ways, like a song in the background playing when I walk into a department store or I walk into a venue or a place where I'm about to work, or I'm just walking around in general. I hear a song playing somewhere out in a house or in a department store or in a mall or anywhere. I'm on my radio, my van when I'm driving, or I'll come across a YouTube clip that will be talking about exactly what I need to hear in that moment. And I would not say for a moment that AI has listened to me and has programmed my algorithms to actually prompt me to have that experience. I feel as though it's in a whole other conversation. But for me, the subtlety of the co-creation with the universe is often like that. It's a place, it's a name, it's a introduction to somebody who will prompt me into looking at something or experiencing something. A modality, for example. I'm seeing a friend of mine this afternoon who is going to give me some somatic psychotherapy around the nature of where I'm moving forward from in my life, because I've given so much of my energy and my time to other people for the last 4 months as I've supported people through their own journeys with illness, as I went through my own in 2011, 2012. And all I've been doing really is doing that. I've been focusing on that moment to moment process of me being able to hold that space for other people, to work through the energies of what they're going through and to help them. And my offerings often don't land with people because the nature of where they're at. But I'm looking at in that co-creation with them as well, and the universe, looking at how I can find those moments from my own self-awareness where I can prompt, and the things that I prompt in regards to helping somebody or giving them an option to look at something, more importantly, in regards to their perceptions of reality when those moments are. And by doing that, by putting my energy into those moments where I have the self-awareness that I know that something's going to land with my friend who I'm looking after, who has a journey with dis-ease, that's putting me into a place of self-awareness where I'm seeing my own co-creations with the universe and the intelligent design, the intelligence that moves through this body, this consciousness that occupies this avatar, which is part of everything, right? And then understanding that, but integrating and embodying that in a way that's truly mystical for me, that I'm actually understanding the nature of my co-creations with reality. How am I going about my own co-creations with reality? And just recently, I had a moment where I was listening to it. I was walking through a mall, and I heard a song on the mall loudspeakers, and that song was exactly what I needed to hear in that moment in regards to where I was going and what I needed to do moving forward from that moment in regards to an experience that I was looking to have. It was like the universe had known that I put my intention out there, and that the intelligent designer of the co-creative force echoed back at me through the song uh, the very necessary information that I needed to hear in a joking kind of way. And I often I learned this many years ago from someone, I can't remember who it was off the top of my head, but they related to the creative force of the universe as the cosmic joker. And it is for me, it always comes through humor. Like my prompts often come to me in a very funny way, as if my co-creations with the universe are often given to me in a way that's humorous and funny, because that to me is how I perceive reality. I'm not a very serious character. I take life pretty lightly. In that sense, I take it with the great humor that I come from. And I remember listening to a podcast with Fortune de Saint Germain on Code 777 Radio, and he said when the angels talk to him, the angels always talk in riddles and koans, and they're always really funny. There's always laughter around his work with the angels. And that's what my experience is like. My spirit guides and guardians, whether they be angels or my higher nature, when I have clairaudient messages, it's often in jokes. And it's often hilarious to me when I hear them. These prompts, these pushes towards certain experiences. But the universe is talking to us all around us in every moment. And it's a lack of presence, in my experience, my lack of presence, that stops me from picking up on the little signs and the idiosyncrasies and the messages and signals that show me to move in a direction or to affirm that I'm moving in the right direction in regards to how I proceed in my life moving forward in regards to what I choose to do. And I've become more present than ever, and have really, especially in the last few months, have become increasingly more and more present, and have put aside the whole idea of a future existence, because the nature of the uncertainty of the time that we live in. And most people who, in my perception, perceive for a reality a year or two ahead, you're really pushing shit up a hill, really, in my perception, because that's just, there's so many changes and taking place. You may choose to look to manifest that in your existence, and hey, power to you if you choose to co-create that in your existence, because there's many existences all happening at once. Everyone's life is quite different. There are umbrella moments where we have a collective perception or narrative pushed on us by the powers that be, the parasite class, or push a narrative on us. For example, in 2020 with the whole COVID pandemic, scamdemic, that was a global narrative pushed upon most Western countries. And most people chose to acquiesce it and believe it. I didn't for a moment. And that's just who I am. I knew this was coming. But those are one of the moments where we have a situation where the narrative perception is pushed upon us. And even in that narrative perception, you have the space to be able to work through that and begin to perceive reality in your own way, and you can co-create with the universe. And for me, that first 4 weeks have been locked down, which is a prison term. Let's be honest, lockdown means being in prison and being locked down in prison. For me, that was probably a massive chance to realign myself with the co-creative force, and I did so. I was dreaming shamanically every morning, meditating every morning, doing qigong, dropping in, anchoring into my internal arts and my processes of connection to spirit. And by doing that, got into a very deep place of understanding, and information that I needed to look at all came to me in a matter of weeks. And from there, I pushed forward into my experience with this narrative, and I understood exactly where it was going, knew exactly what it was all about. And I blogged heavily about it because the prompts and the little messages and signals came to me like darts, like arrows, constantly. And I was so self-aware and present in that year that I got all of it before the end of 2020 and 2021, 2022. I saw it all play out exactly what I wrote about in 2020, 2021. It all played out like it was everything that I learned. It all played out. And now in 2024, I feel a need to be more present than ever because the prompts and the messages that are coming to me are more and more subtle due to the nature of the influences, I think, that are going on with the parasite class, and those forces that control them are doing their very best to manifest a perception narrative of absolute chaos. And at some point, in my perception, they're going to drop several narratives at once that will completely confuse the populace of our planet, energetically, physically, mentally, spiritually. And I think they're warming up to do that by the end of the year, if not early next year. And so for me, like I said before, the whole idea of living in this future tense, oh, in 2025, I'm going to do this, it's kind of, in my perception, in my experience, it's kind of futile. You have to be present and look at the universe and see what the universe is offering you and showing you where to go and what to do. And for me, it's about service. My energy, my time is coming from a place of virtue and service to other people and to all of creation. And that's where I'm moving out of out of the way of myself, metaphorically, but also empirically, getting my way out of myself to be present enough to allow the energies to flow through me with my co-creative force. And I've made it quite clear through my prayers what I'm available for. And I'm feeling as though by doing that, I'm coming from a place of deep sense of being. And when I say being, I don't mean like human being. I mean being isn't like presence. And that presence, I'm shown and given all that I need to move forward in a way that's empowering for me on my own journey and my understanding of my co-creation. And all these other narratives that play themselves out have no effect on my life, but I'm totally aware of them. But in my self-awareness, I keep coming back to the moment. And by doing that, I'm able to focus my energy on picking up the subtle little signals, prompts from the co-creative force. And by doing that, I can align with that energy. And I feel as though by doing that is also, it's manifesting for me an existence, a reality that is better than I can ever imagine. And for that, I am truly grateful. Thanks for watching. I truly appreciate it. Mate wa. I'll see you again soon.